Okay, good morning, Year 6. I'm Mrs. Venn and I teach history at the Joseph Rowntree School, and I'm going to do a short series of tasks for you today about our city over time, so you can have a bit of a taster about what history might be like when you come to us in September. Okay, so first of all, I'm sure all of you are aware of the fact that the city used to be called Jorvik during Viking times, and we're going to spend a little bit of time today having a think about what that might have been like. Okay, so first section for me, everybody. I'm going to read to you from part of the Vicious Vikings, and what I'd like you to do, please, and you might need some paper to do this, is to write down what you can hear, see, smell, and taste in Jorvik based on what I'm about to read out. Okay, so by all means, pause me while you get yourself sorted with paper and a pen. Okay, and then you're going to have a go at this for me. Horrible History says, Jorvik was truly a gruesome place to live. In some areas of the city, the meat for sale would be hanging from hooks above their windowsills, flies buzzing about the bloody meat. The animal guts and entrails were left on the street to rot, or else thrown into the river. The rubbish and waste on the streets of York meant that the rats and pigs were never far from sight, picking through the rubbish, looking for the dinner. Due to the lack of toilets, Vikings used a cesspit. The rivers Foss and Ouse were sometimes used as sewers. Oh, and did I mention that people got their water for drinking, cooking and washing from the Foss and the Ouse? There was a lot of industry in Jorvik, such as metalwork, leather and pottery. The stench and pollution from these industries choked the air in some crowded parts of the city. Jorvik was filled with people bustling to and fro, people working, people worshipping Norse gods and selling their wares, not to mention the petty criminals. As ordinary citizens washed using a bucket of water, unsurprisingly, the smell of body odour was all around. Okay, so pause me and take 5 minutes to think of all the things you might be able to hear, smell, see and taste in Jorvik. Okay, our next task, everybody. I hope you came up with some nice, grim and detailed things for me from that reading. So this next section is we're going to have a look and see whether or not we think that Horrible Histories was either right or wrong in what I've just read to you. Okay, so what I've just read to you is what we mean by Horrible Histories. Okay, so they're saying it's a smelly, unpleasant, crowded place. And I'm now going to get you to look at information and see if you think that's true or not. Okay, so we're testing a bit of history. Okay, so your teacher will have at the back of this PowerPoint a sheet which has information on. I'm just going to go to it now. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so either using it up on the board, have a look at it, but in your book or on your sheet of paper, do 2 columns, a table with 2 columns for me. One of them is saying Horrible Histories was right, one of them saying Horrible Histories was wrong. Okay, and then you're going to use this information, okay, to either colour code it if you've got your own copies, or you can write into the columns. So for example, source number 4 says rubbish was thrown out into backyards where there was building materials, food, human waste. That one makes it sound like Horrible Histories is right. They both make it sound like it is an unpleasant place, okay? But then in some other areas, it might make it sound more pleasant, in which case it would go into your Horrible Histories is wrong column. This is probably going to take you 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so pause me and have a go at that. Okay, and there's some extra challenge there for those of you that are finished. Okay, now task 3 is you're going to write to Mr. Deary, only a very short paragraph. But Mr. Deary is the man who wrote the Horrible Histories, and your job is to tell him what do you think about what he said. Okay, so having a look at it, I want you to think about it. And it says there, Dear Mr. Deary, and basically you need to complete the dotted sections with what you think you've learned. So 2 bits of evidence about why it was gruesome, and then 2 pieces of evidence about things that were actually nice about Jorvik, and then a bit of advice for him about how you think he should make his book more accurate. Okay, so that should mean that we've all learned a little something about Jorvik today. We've learned what someone else says about it, and we've tested that. Okay, and then we've reached our own opinion and we're going to explain it. That is classic history, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed learning a bit about your city, and really excited about you coming to see us in September and start your learning with us. Have a lovely summer.